G'day everyone and welcome to the RacingBet preview for the final week of the Perth Masters Carnival. It's Group 1 Kingston Town Classic Day over here in the West. We've also got Pakenham Cup Day over in Victoria. We'll be getting into both of those feature races, as well as our best bets for both Ascot and Pakenham. I'm your host Tim Geers, joined by Trent Crebbin. Trent, been finding plenty of winners the last couple of days. Hopefully we can roll on into the weekend.
Yeah, you especially have been on fire over in WA, and we'll be looking to finish on a high for the third week of the Masters.
Yeah, have been aided by some outstanding rides. I mean, like in this game, it's a matter of inches. And look, often you can cop the crap end of the stick with some rides, and they can make the difference between winning and losing. But fortunately for me, I've been on the right end of some fantastic rides in the past couple of days, especially. So results going well. Maybe I should stick to WA more often. We've had a bit of success since I've turned my attention over this way, so could be something to stick with going forward. But we'll turn our attention to Saturday. You're only as good as your last winner, as they say, and we've got plenty more to find on Saturday. We'll kick off with you over at Pakenham because it's Pakenham Cup Day, which typically this meeting can be a little bit of a graveyard for punters. Are you treading warily after Ballarat Cup Day a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, Ballarat was a horrible day for punters. Pakenham can be a bit notorious for being tough to find winners, but I think you found a good mix of horses that look very well placed and horses that kind of you think could bob up at a big price. I think there's a good mix of there in my selections.
We'll get into the Pakenham Cup as your best value bet comes up in that race, but we'll start off with your best bet on the card. Comes up in race number 5. You're with horse number 8, Tavydance, currently $2.50. Take us through your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on Tavydance. He looks the standout bet of the day. He just looks so well placed here. I'm a big fan of this horse. He's clearly very talented. He's just had a few issues in his career. First up, he was beaten about 8 lengths, but you could honestly make the case he could have won. He went to the line completely untested. He was walking throughout the whole race. He had a lot to give there. Was very well backed first up. Second up, he went to the Kilmore Cup. He was a touch slow away. Ollie went back to the fence, got held up, flashed home late to just miss Pancho. Probably should have won that by a couple of lengths as well. Comes here third up. He gets in with 56 kilos. There's a smaller field. He should have no traffic issues here. And I think if he brings his best, he's going to be really hard to beat here. And $2.50, I think, is more than acceptable. And with a bit of rain on the day as well, I think predicted that's only going to suit him more. And I just think he's the clear best bet of the day at Pakenham.
That's race number 5, horse number 8, Tavydance, Mick Price, D. Oliver. Yeah, you're right about the rain. If the rain does come, it's only going to help him. He's got 3 wins from 4 starts on rain-affected ground. Moving to the day's feature, the Pakenham Cup. It's race number 7 on the card. A few things going on here during the week, a few funny things. We saw Princess Jenny a late nomination for the Perth Cup, and about an hour later we saw an article written saying that she's going for a spell after this race. So a little bit hard to know what's going on there. Suppose we'll just wait and see what happens in this race. But she is a $5.50 chance here. However, you're keen on one at $51, so that's a good starting point. Your best value bet of the day is horse number 9, Northwest Passage.
Yeah, just thought Northwest Passage could kind of bob up here at a big price. This is kind of a race that's a bit notorious for roughies as well. Look, his run last start of 2,000 metres in the Kingston Cup I thought was quite strong. He finished 4th there, beaten just over 4 lengths. His form prior was quite bad, but it's just over distances that aren't really his go. He really needs a long trip and needs to be rock hard fit. It was going back a while ago, a couple of years, but he did run some very strong races. He ran 4th in a Bart Cummings behind a Villiers, who was kind of at his prime then. Ran 2nd in a Geelong Cup behind Runaway, beating home a couple of handy horses like Finch there. It was a long time ago, but he's obviously a very talented horse, and it just looks a bit of a set play here. Up to 2,500 metres, gets John Allen on, who's a good kind of informed jockey at the moment, especially in these staying races, draws well. I just think the pace is going to be on here with a couple of kind of fiery leader types out in front. I think he's going to really get his chance to run on strongly. And at $51, I could definitely have something on each way.
Yeah, you're not wrong. As I alluded to before, this meeting can be a little bit of a graveyard for punters. So it would be nice if we were on the right end for one, the right end of one for a change. Who do you see as the main dangers? Because we've got 5 horses between about $5 and $7.50 in the market.
Yeah, and look, there's kind of knocks on all of them. I kind of thought Credence was probably the horse to beat, but he is a little bit of a hit and miss kind of horse, but his form does tie in quite well with these. He did finish 4th last up behind True Self in the Queen Elizabeth. Before that, he was quite good in the Geelong Cup as well, as only about a length off Sound, which kind of ties in quite a few of these. Attorney as well, who's another obvious chance. Draws barrier 1 here. Willow on board. He'd probably be the danger or the save you could have in the race, but there's a host of chances that you can make a case for. So I just thought Northwest Passage was the one at odds that could bob up.
Okay, very good. So there you have it. Trent's best value bet of the day in the Pakenham Cup, race number 7, horse number 9, Northwest Passage, currently 50 to 1. We'll get over to Ascot for the final day of the Perth Masters Carnival, Group 1 Kingston Town Classic Day. We've had some pretty solid results in the first 2 weeks of the Carnival, so we'll hopefully round things out with another successful day. My best bet comes up in race number 7. This is the race immediately prior to the Kingston Town Classic, so hopefully we can kind of build the bank ahead of the Group 1. This is the Group 3 AJ Scale Stakes. You'll see the likes of Kementari going around here. I've already had a conversation with someone on Twitter about Kementari winning, which won't be happening. But my best bet of the day is horse number 10, Celebrity Queen. Pretty easy selection to find. Team Williams, William Pike and Bob Peters combined here. Comes off a second placing in the Winterbottom Stakes last weekend behind Elite Street. Obviously looks a very good form reference. Comes here on the quick backup. Up to 1,400 metres is probably the only query for this mare. She's never run over the distance previously. But look, the way she kind of finishes off her races with her big booming finish, I don't think the step up to 1,400 metres is going to be an issue at all. And we quite often see things with this stable that they're able to stretch out over a little bit more ground. But look, 2 starts ago, she beat Stage Man. She then came out, ran, and she was probably unlucky in the Winterbottom last week. If she had got out and clear running, probably 3 or 4 strides earlier, I dare say she beats Elite Street. So, look, I think, stepping up in trip is a positive. William Pike goes back on, replacing Trish Parnham. I think with even luck, she looks your winner. Happy to take $2.10. She looks the best bet on what is a difficult card at Ascot on Saturday. We'll move into my best value bet of the card, which, as Trent can attest to, took me a little bit of time to figure out. There are a number of races on this card at Ascot on Saturday, which really the kind of testing material. They gave me a bit of a headache, but I've landed on race number 3, which is one of those headache races, because we've got a favourite here in Long Beach, $2.80, who I thought was very plain last start, albeit it was early in the day. Perhaps the track was favoured to those on speed a little bit at that stage, but I still thought he was a little bit plain. And at $2.80 here, I have to play around him because I can make a case for probably 5 others at good odds here, but I've landed on horse number 9, Prim and Proper, as my best value bet of the day. It's currently $20, paying $5 for the place. She's only won 2 of her 12 career starts, but she does fly fresh. She's placed in 3 of her 4 starts when first up from a spell. We might be going 1 run too soon because her second up record's even better, but she's got a great record here at Ascot. She's got 2 wins and 3 placings from 6 starts. She's got a great record at the track and distance, and as I said, normally does go very well fresh. Last preparation fresh, she was beating her nose. The prep before that, she ran 3rd when she clearly probably didn't pull up too great because she was sent for a spell straight away. And then before that, she had form around the likes of Nikovi first up, which is very solid for a race like this. So I'm tipping her to run well first up. She's won a trial leading into this, albeit it was only over 1,400 metres and there was only 3 horses in the trial. But I thought she moved well enough. And look, if they put the speed on up front, I think she'll be finishing hard. And at $20 and $5 in an open race, I'm happy to make her my best value bet of the day. That's race 3, number 9, Prim and Proper. Trent, we'll get into the Group 1 Kingston Town Classic. This is race number 8 on the card, the final Group 1 of the Perth Carnival, worth $1 million. Weight for age, 1,800 metres. Now, fascinating race, probably of all the 3 Group 1 races. Pretty fascinating because we've seen, the 3-year-olds really dominate this race in recent years. I think 3 of the last 5 years, this race has been won by the 3-year-olds carrying, 50 or 52 kilos. The 3-year-olds in this year's race are Gemma's Son, Dom to Shoot, Watch Me Dance, and a couple of the emergencies which need a scratching to gain a run. Market headed by number 12, Inspirational Girl, $2.50, $2.60, coming off a dominant win in the Railway Stakes. Can she do it again with barrier 18 in underweight for age conditions?
Look, I was kind of keen to take her on in the Railway. I got that completely wrong. It was a dominant win, But look, I think I'd have to be against her again here. You know, $2.50, barrier 18. Did they go right back?
You
would
are a
think that,
brave man. But yes, I think they do
look,
go right back.
right back, you know, try and slice the field again or try and loop them. 1800, look, you know, the way she went through the line last start, you know, it's probably not going to be an issue. But I just thought this race doesn't set up as well for her. You know, she goes up to the 57 kilos at weight for age. She doesn't have that real strong pull in the weights. And I thought the Railway was, and in hindsight, it was really her race to lose. This is a different test altogether. And I thought there were a couple at odds that probably were good chances of upsetting her.
Yeah, interesting point you make. And probably that barrier draw is the one thing that's, I suppose, opened the race up a little bit. You know, if she had a draw on barrier 7 or something, I find it very difficult to see them beating her. But I think only once in the last 10 years have we seen a winner start from a double-digit barrier, and that was Perfect Reflection, who Pike also rode. She started from barrier 12 on that occasion. But, you know, outside of that, we've seen barrier 1, 6, 8, 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8. So at the 1,800 metre start, inside draws are potentially favoured a little bit. Look, in terms of speed of the race, there's every chance she might be pulled into the race through the speed. We've got the likes of Galo Chop, of course, drawn better. Trap for Fools, he'll go forward. We've got his stablemate Too Close to the Sun engaged. So there's going to be no shortage of tempo up front, I wouldn't have thought. And look, I'm sure Pike would just find a spot somewhere, as he always does, and probably slice through and give her every chance again. But it's not, you know, as you've said, it's not just plain sailing for her. There's quite a bit of competition to this race. Let's talk about these 3-year-olds, which I think you're keen on. As I've said, 3-year-olds have won the last three of the last 5 races. And we have a couple coming out of the Guineas here. Dom to Shoot, drawn better in barrier 7, down to 52 kilos. Jockey change, obviously Paul Harvey can't make that weight. And Watch Me Dance, who has done the WA Champions Fillies and WA Guineas double. That is exactly what your girlfriend Arcadia Queen did when she won this race a few years back now. So talk to me about these 3-year-olds. How do they line up?
Well, first of all, Watch Me Dance is no Arcadia Queen. She was an absolute moral that day. Look, I thought that Dom to Shoot was the better run in the Guineas. Kind of drew wide, had to kind of circle the field there. I think he draws much better here in barrier 7. I'm not all over the WA jockeys and whatnot, but I did see a stat saying Peter Nucky is not going at the best strike rate at the moment. So that's probably a slight query. But I thought if he could land kind of midfield, probably one off the rails there from barrier 7, he's going to be the one that I think of the 3-year-olds is most suited, stepping up to 1,800 metres. Watch Me Dance puts herself in a great spot every time. You know, she maps really well again from barrier 5, but she has had, you know, beautiful runs in the Champion Fillies and the WA Guineas. There's every chance that'll eventuate again, but, you know, in a much bigger field and a stronger race. I thought Dom to Shoot was definitely one that could turn the tables on her from that WA Guineas. Yeah,
it will be interesting to see where those two end up. You know, it's a good point you made about how Watch Me Dance has had, you know, the race run to suit and the perfect run in her last 2 wins. But I also think she's going to get a very similar run here. Barrier 5, I think they'll kind of string out a little bit. I think she should just be lobbing behind the leaders in the first half of the field. Shooter McGrady is on fire. And look, you can only beat what's in front of you. And I think $11 for Watch Me Dance is probably a good bet in the race. In terms of how I'm going to bet in the race, I actually haven't kind of solidified a position yet, just because I think we'll see Inspirational Girl potentially drift out a little bit. And if she was to get out to say $3 or so, I'd be betting her pretty confidently. But look, I would be also happy to take $11 for Watch Me Dance. I can understand why Dom to Shoot is shorter than her in the market. As you said, it was a flashing light run in the WA Guineas. It was a flashing light run before that in the Faritha. It was a flashing light run before that behind MTA. So my query is whether he just keeps doing that, but we should see him more forward from barrier 7. However, yes, the jockey booking is somewhat of a query with the Pontiff being replaced by Peter Nucky. I do think a big improver we'll see this week is KC. I was really happy to take her on in the Railway Stakes. I just thought 56 kilos for a mare was basically impossible for her to win. But I do think she's much better suited at weight for age today. She gets in with 56.5, so half a kilo more, whereas a lot of these are, you know, rising 6 kilos in the weights or thereabouts. So under these conditions, she is probably the best suited horse coming out of the railway. She can kind of do that, put in a poor run and then come out and explode. We saw that first up from a spell when she was very heavily backed. She was pretty ordinary, and then she came out second up and exploded, beating Red Can Man. So look, I think she can be the big improver. I think she's drawn well in barrier 11. Brad Parnham obviously goes on. She won this race last year, albeit as a 3-year-old carrying 50 kilos. But I wouldn't be surprised to see her turn her form around again. So throw her in your numbers. Her Stablemate Platoon is another that I wouldn't be surprised. It was pretty interesting to hear Neville Parnham say during the week that he reckons this horse is just starting to peak now. I suppose he was a little bit plain in the railway, but again, he's another one that I wouldn't be surprised to kind of bounce off that and really kind of give this a shake at, $34, $35. And then we have the likes of Too Close to the Sun, he just never runs a bad race, this bloke. He was fantastic first up behind Inspirational Girl. He was even better second up in the Ascot Gold Cup, of course, which we were pretty excited about. And then he's brave again behind Inspirational Girl in the railway, but he does give her a weight swing. So suppose the puzzle is that he's drawn 10, is going to go forward, probably be right up on the speed, and she's drawn 18, probably going to go all the way back. He meets her worse off at the weights, and she was utterly dominant in the railway. So me personally, I can't see him turning the tables on her, but he does get a couple of things in his favour as well. Stepping up to 1,800 metres probably suits him as well. So look, I know I've listed a lot of horses there, but the way I would be going, I think I'll have Inspirational Girl on top, but I would want to be, I think we will probably get somewhere around $3. I think Watch Me Dance at $11 is the best value bet in the race. Just a perfect profile, winning form, can only beat what's in front of her, and she looks to get a dream run again from barrier 5. So happy to have her as the value at $11. I think KC will go well at $11 as well. And if you're including a blowout chance, possibly Platoon at around $35. Now, I know you're very keen on Western Empire if he's to get a run. Currently stands as the second emergency, so he's unlikely to gain a start. But just give us your thoughts on him. Jade McNaught's booked to ride if he does gain a run. And if he doesn't, we'll see him line up in one of the earlier races over 1,400 metres. And what a hot race that is.
Yeah, look, if he gets a start, he's clearly on top for me, but I just don't see how he will. I thought his run in the Guineas was the run of the race. Clearly, he came from last, pretty much from last. Came from behind Dom to Shoot, was really eating up the ground late. 1,800 metres is definitely going to suit him. And he's the one that really profiles for me as the 3-year-old that could explode up to 1,800 metres, drawn perfectly in barrier 6 if he does get a run. $12 or so, I think, is clear value. But again, he just has to get a run. Other than that, for me, I've got Dom to Shoot on top, and he'd probably be the way I'd be playing the race. But it's tough to really stamp one as a clear bet in the race.
How good's race number 6 on the card? The Listia Classic's just an absolute beauty, isn't it? We've got the likes of Western Empire, the horse you were just talking about, taking on Shontalk. You know how much I love Shontalk. She just continues to impress week after week. Every time she lines up, she just seems to win. And then you've got the fillies coming out of the Champions fillies, the likes of Kiss on All Four Cheeks and Snickerdoodle Dandy, as well as Soleil's in there. It's a fantastic race. Can't wait to see that one. That is race number 6 on the card. Now, Trent, you've got one for the viewers tonight at Moonee Valley, and we're both pretty keen on this at $126. Why don't you let them know?
Yeah, just going through the form for the Valley. That'll be up just after this video, up on racingbet.com.au. Race number 6, the staying race over 2,500 metres. I think number 11, Pat the Weapon, at $126 can run a very big race on an each-way basis. I thought when I did the form, kind of found him, I thought that you'd be respecting of that as well, because it's a big kind of pattern horse. He does nothing first or second up. He's kind of had 14 starts there. He's run 2 placings, and he's run last at both starts this preparation. But third up, he's had 6 starts, and he's run second on 4 occasions, which is what he did last prep as well. He ran second at Morfettville over a staying trip. He gets the blinkers on here. He gets the 3-kilo claimer down to 53 kilos. I think they'll go forward from the wide barrier and really put him into the race. And it looks a real set play for him to really peak here third up. And, you're getting $26 a place. I think that's a big price.
And Stable's going well too. For the season, I think they've had 27 runners for 7 winners. So they're operating at about 26% this season. Completely agree with you. Just love it. Dropping from 68 kilos last start in the high weight down to 53 tonight with the claim. Just a casual 15 kilo drop in the weights. This reminds me a lot of Tuscan Light, and those who who follow us will know what I'm talking about with Tuscan Light. But she was very similar in that highway. Had done nothing first and second up ever in her career, and then third up she just seemed to peak. And this guy looks a little bit the same. Tricky draw, but yeah, love that third up record. 4 second placings from 6 starts, and they backed him last preparation. This stage of the prep in Adelaide from $41 into $19, and he ran second. So don't be surprised if that $126 doesn't last tonight. Love your work, mate. Looking forward to watching that one going around. Looking forward to another huge weekend. We've got plenty covered. The horse, he's covered every single bloody race in Australia today, from here, there, and everywhere. He's all over it. Trent, you're on Moonee Valley tonight. Josh has covered Randwick Kensington. And then we're in full flow ahead of Group 1 Kingston Town Classic Day at Ascot tomorrow. Plenty of good racing around Australia. We'll have it all covered on racingbet.com.au.